I don't even know if I wrote Savior right in this moment, to be honest. Let's see. They will forgive me. Yeah,
Okay.
there we go. Here we are. Just have to, as always, silence this video. But yeah, the Savior is you.
Mhm.
You are your Savior, and we all are in our own unique way,
Exactly.
right?
Oh,
So
maybe I should take my earbuds out. Hang on. I don't need them. Let me switch.
this is all good. We are pretty free with
Okay.
that. So yeah, guys, it's even the message for today. It's the Savior is you, and it's been profound what realization we come to, right? There's no one that can save us. We have to take advantage of ourselves, of the choice that we have in each and every moment to save ourselves. And then if we do that and we learn to love ourselves, then we're in collaboration with the world. And this is also part of the saving, right? But it has to start with you. There's no other force that can help you in aligning you to who you are.
And that's the most difficult thing.
Hmm.
The most difficult thing any of us move through in our lives is accepting and becoming who we're meant to become, which is why I'm talking about it so much. And I want people to read that message, The Savior's You, because there is a video there that we created. You know, when I do my channeling sessions, I get things differently. And this was on that interview on Next Level Soul, where I channeled about AI. And so we used AI in that because my whole thing is about we're moving into a new world. We have to embrace everything and we have to allow it to come into a useful purpose and but control. And that's what happened in that thing. That message, and I want everyone to understand because when I've been talking about what's happening in the world, I recorded all these videos yesterday. Nothing's going crazy. We are attempting to evolve. And if we don't do that, the world keeps going a little bit crazy. We each come in with something different and unique. Mine was so different that it was really challenging for me to accept it. How could I have known what was going to be happening in our world now? How could I have written it years ago? And then we're seeing it. And I just want people to appreciate that because we are all consciousness, all of us, and we just access it and utilize it in different ways. And that is mindset. That is all of it. And this is what I've done. But now, what we're doing with you, as we said, we're creating a movement because I have this information that can change so many lives and change our world. And I know that sounds crazy to people, but that's only because they don't understand how powerful they can be when they utilize their brain and their thinking and their consciousness, as I've been doing for many, many years. And so, but right now, oh, I was published in, and I want everyone to, if anyone subscribes to Sedona Journal, the Sedona Journal, I was published in there with a bunch of other people today about predictions for 2024, which I wrote a long time ago because I know where we're going to be and what's happening. And if we become more aware, we will have a very different world than the wars that we're having currently. It's up to each of us to understand that and to accept who we are and what we've become.
It's very powerful that you mentioned this now 2024. It comes in the second time today that I'm thinking about it.
Hmm?
And I'm thinking about like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to be? Like, how am I going to experience 2024? Because things are looking or things may start to turn out a little bit more difficult, right? And people say, yeah, be prepared or whatever. Some people think they run out of water or they run out of food and like some essentials. And I even travel, right? I don't even have um, a, a place that I call like physical home as the most of the other people on this planet. But I just came back to that answer that I just ask, uh, or I just know that I'll be at the right place at the right time that gives me everything that I need in order to stay and to survive and to thrive even, right? And this is just the approach that I'm taking, that I learned to take, rather than, oh yeah, other people asking those questions and I feel they're a little scared and anxious about what's going to happen eventually or potentially, who knows what exactly is going to happen. But like, yeah, people want to be prepared, right? And I say to myself, yo, how can I be prepared for what is to come? And I'm like, I'm already prepared. I'm already prepared. I already feel safe within myself. And I'm, yeah, just trusting the divine, the
And
universe, God, to place me in the right place at the right time.
and when I've had a long life, I've gone through everything. I have, this is why I do this work, because I know how people are suffering. When I look at Israel and Gaza at this time, I know exactly what that feels like. And it also came through in a Wilhelm channeling session about, a year and a half ago, saying this is what we were going to look at, because we're moving through very old energies of judgment and blame and all of that stuff within each of us and within countries. And unless we individually decide to move up to a higher level of consciousness, we create a crazy world. But we're going to move through, my prediction in 2024, so everyone is understanding. None of this is being settled in the next couple of months, which I said a long time ago. This is why my work, I wanted people to stay in it for a year. When we come together and collectively uplift our consciousness, it changes everything. When we understand that everything is energy and we all have it, and we can use it to create something
Yeah.
better. And I had to live it. When you said having nothing at 19 years old, I'm always in a crisis of where I always show up for a crisis, no matter what it is. At 19 years old, our home burned, and we had nothing. I was the one who was there, and this 19-year-old kid. But I said, no, I'm taking care of this. And I left that apartment. The only thing that happened, I had to grab my younger brother who didn't know what was going on. He could have been killed. And I'm standing out in the street. I have nothing except the clothes on my back. Everything was gone. I had to completely rebuild my life. We all did. But
Hmm.
you know that it's possible. And it's this faith and belief that you develop. And then I had another one. I had two others. I had another fire in New York. Same thing kind of happened, but you recover, you build yourself up, and that's what we're doing in our world now. And this is why it looks so destructive, but we got to move through it. And this is why I am doing what I'm doing now, why
Yeah, this
we're
is
doing what we're doing, why
this is why
we're,
we're doing what we're doing, right?
yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned that story. It's very powerful. And I like the way that you say that I developed that faith and trust
Hmm.
within myself, because it is a development that we're taking.
Hmm.
And it won't stop, right? But it's not that just from simply waiting and something to happen, right? To bring back part of the saving part that we're talking about here as well, is like, when I'm waiting for things to happen, like, they won't happen. Like, I have to do certain things. I have to invest in myself. I have to kind of put out a certain energy, a frequency that allows me to attract that frequency back, or right, to do something that is that pushes me for that, what means push me forward, but that allows me to move forward accordingly. So then therefore things will fall into my lap that support me on my journey. So it's really about like taking ownership of our actions and the choices that we make,
Hmm.
right? But the accountability and the relationships, like, we just had a conversation today in a call that I had earlier, and we talked about money.
Hmm.
And someone said the new currency is relationships.
Hmm.
The new currency of this world is relationships. And this is what we're building. This is what we're allowing people to tap in. And we do see the results of it, right? Like, the people who are constantly showing up, the people who constantly are interacting even with each other, they are the ones who thrive. They are the ones who create those big shifts and even quantum leaps in their lives, right? And they talk about it and they're feeling it and they're smiling, and yes, it takes some courage, right? To do what's best for you. But like, on the other side is growth and expansion. It's very beautiful.
But 2.5, well, almost 2 years ago, when I was talking about what was happening, when I was telling people who I created 4 weeks to your best life. And I said, no, I knew people couldn't hear me. They may not hear me because typically when we move through things in the world, in our civilizations, a lot of people aren't paying attention to what's going on. And this is why they become surprised when they see things falling apart, when they see wars coming about and all of that, except I was talking about it. And I said, this is where we're going because it is energy. And if we don't understand the, okay, if we don't, well, I can't talk anymore. I don't know. I was trying to, okay. We don't understand that we each contribute to the energy of what's happening in
Mhm.
our world through what we do in our lives. That's the biggest difficulty. And I'll just
It's
tell
just
everyone,
what I'm doing. It's just what I'm doing right here. Like I'm contributing something. My actions, and it might be something silly, has a direct consequence of you actually losing the focus of what you wanted to talk about.
that was
And this is
losing my focus.
just the most simple explanation of what you're talking about here right now, is because like everything that we do matters and it does has an effect on someone at some stage, right? So if I'm doing this now, it even has a different right, it does start to look to be a little bit different again. And it's just what I'm doing. It's just I
You're
just allow
talking about
myself to be playful.
you're speaking about the ripple effect.
The
And
ripple effect, yeah.
well, I wrote that came to me many years ago. And it was saying that we, I won't read it. Let me read it and then then people will get it.
Yeah.
It was, you know, when we understand everything is mindset and we access it in different ways. What I did was access it cosmically in different, you know, and this is why the the work that we're doing is, and the reason that it works, and I know you got a lot of great testimonials from people who are doing it, but the reason that it works is because it connects each person to their authentic selves.
Mhm.
Their why are they here? Their divine plan, whatever it is. It's never telling anybody what to do. But anyway, I'll read
Yeah.
this to you because I want you to hear this. Okay,
You have the allowance to share, but screen if you need to.
it doesn't look
And
so
what do
great,
you
but
think about my new beard
it
that I
doesn't
have?
look so great. So I'll just read it.
What
Well,
do you
okay,
think
I'll
my
share it.
new Raja?
Yes.
What do you think about my new beard?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I hadn't even paid attention. I don't that no, it's great.
Which one? This
Okay.
one?
Let me I'll read it. I want people to say this was in
Yes.
2015. Okay. There's such a thing, you can think of it as the ripple effect. It is powerful, continually present, and you always have it at your disposal. It is also something that you continually underestimate what it might accomplish. The ripple effect is employed by you by how you decide to act and speak to whoever is in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
In that very instant, you are invoking a powerful energy that is also indiscriminate and can go in any direction. You can see it used in your world all the time, but also in ways that do not produce the results you desire, and that can cause conflict and violence. All you ever need do to employ the ripple effect for good is to decide to be consciously aware of the intent of your words before you speak them or of your actions before you take them. And I mean, if okay, if everyone could understand that, we would have a very different world. We would have a very different thing if we were conscious of our actions, how they are affecting us and how they're affecting
Oh.
others. Things
Mhm.
change. But anyway, no, and I
And this is really it. Like this is something that I've contemplated when I was a child first, in school, exactly what you mentioned right now. And usually people have difficulties to say my name, so I say my name is Jarn, right? We have that R
mm,
within the German, and my name is Jarn. And I have been a pirate maybe once in a lifetime, but who
I,
knows about that. So when I was younger, I think it was around the grade 9 or 10 in school. I think more 10 than 9. I was thinking about like I was contemplating how people reacted depending on like reacted when I was talking with them. And I found
mhm,
out that actually switching my intention, being aware of the tonality and the intention that I'm using, and really having that in mind whilst I want to communicate something that is new, or that I want to communicate. However, they changed, like their response changed depending on me working with a different intent. And this is even with the healing, right? When I'm already seeing people as healed. It's the allowance for me, like I'm already seeing the healing has already occurred within them. So this is the intention that I bring in. And I bring that intention from a selfless place, not an egoic place. I don't want to control their healing. This is up to them. But I know that it's the intention that I bring with that allows the space for the people to tap in and to be themselves, to heal themselves, or however. And it's the same that you do with the program, right? Or that we're doing in those group coachings. Like you created something that allows people to tap your space with the program. I call this your space now, for them then to come in and to be authentic and themselves, right? So you created that ripple effect for so many other people to tap into their authentic self, because you first started being your authentic self when you decided to become your authentic self. So it is such a powerful thing
It was
that people
also
have to be aware of, right?
it was also incredibly challenging because that's the other part. I said I can't tell people what I've done. I can't tell people how I did this, and I no longer care. I mean, I now it is far too important for me to get out of the way, for most of us to get out of the way and do what we came here to do. And
There's
I
this
could
wonderful
never
song, guys. There's this wonderful song. Move, get out the way, get out the way, get
I
out
could
the way.
never explain to anyone, including my family. And so we have to stop trying to get other people to understand us and
Mhm.
understand who we are. And so,
Oh yeah.
when I first started doing, like, struggle forever to tell them how this was happening. But now what I am doing, I said, I recorded a video, people will see it later. I said, well, I'm determined to save the world because,
Hmm.
because I know I can do it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we
and
are doing it.
I said, okay, and I said, anybody who listens to this video and say, oh, that's just crazy, because that's what we think, that we can't do that. I'm going to, yeah, it won't be, it may not happen while I'm still alive, but it will happen when I leave this work, because this work can take anyone to their authentic selves, cause them to become happy, cause them to be prosperous, cause them to find
Hmm.
their career, to live it, their bright purpose, all of that. And so if we have more people on the planet doing that, we're not going to be killing folks. We're not going to be stealing. We're not going to be doing all those other things, but it's a level of consciousness that we must move to. And we build it in different ways. I happen to sit down and write it every single day. But now, when we get close to my retirement, which is going to
Hmm.
be a little different, but now we're taking this full out, is what's happening. So anyway, I want people to check out the
Exactly,
links. And
bro. And like, I mean, you're more vibrant than ever, I bet. Right? Like you have more drive than ever before. And like, I mean, you're in your 70s now. And
mm,
this is just what people like, once you do what you love, like you won't have problems to wake up in the morning. You won't have difficulties to just, and even if you sleep in one day because your body needs the rest, like you're not struggling with creating the life that you want and just doing what feels right. But in
I,
order for you to do what feels right, you have to kind of ask yourself, well, what do I actually want in life?
yeah,
Right? And this is what we allow people to tap into.
there are two of us here. I'm just going to talk about this because I, I'm going to share this, okay, because I want people to have this.
Mhm.
Um, I just discovered it yesterday. I have written pretty much everything at one point, one time or another, which is why I can always find it. And again, it's all mindsets stuff. But I want to show you. Oh, wait a minute, I did something incorrect here. Uh, um, and it's and everybody, people will understand this because we will all relate to it. And it to view. I think it was in meaning that we know that we have these other parts of ourselves that we can see them in different ways. Some things we are uh We're okay when we're talking to our friends in a certain way, but then we change when we go to somewhere else. And then it's, but the other part that we always know that we're doing that. And I don't know, I'll have to find it. I'm going to share it because it was such a great one. I think it was on this date too, in a few years ago. My guys love doing that, giving me stuff on the same date. But anyway, it was saying that when we think about it, we're always kind of looking at ourselves in a particular way and then maybe acting differently. Somebody else was talking about authenticity, and that was a really great one too, because when we think about authenticity, we can know if we're doing it, because if we change ourselves when we're answering or speaking to someone else, here it is. Okay.
I
Here is
disagree,
the, yep,
but
October.
it's very.
Okay,
Wait,
this,
wait a moment. Wait a
uh,
moment. Changing ourselves. I've just realized something about that. Like, and we are always kind of doing that. We're
yes,
kind of having that, like our
yes,
mirror neurons fire up and we just start behaving accordingly to whoever is in front of us.
right.
And it can serve a purpose, but it's a very interesting way of how we're actually changing ourselves for other people or in front of other people.
Okay, now I'm going to share this because this is going to help so many people, because when you, everything that I would receive, I just want to say this, I would have to think about it. And this is how we use our mindset. I had to think about it before it would make sense to me. And this message is like that as well. But I will share it. So, oops, let me get rid of that. Okay, this was October 18th in 2013. However, we accept and learn things over time. We don't typically get it right away. Okay, there are always two of you here. This concept may sound a bit strange to you at first, but you would do well to attempt to accept it, become comfortable with it, and use it to your advantage. You decided to have a physical life experience in order that you might expand or become more. When you incarnate physically, you begin to become aware of yourself as the you that you know now. This is not quite as apparent to you when you are younger, but when you think about it now, you can easily identify the part of you that is busy having your experiences, and then also what seems to you as another you that is simply observing what you are up to. This is a purposeful setup, so to speak, because the you that is observing is always asking questions. The process of asking questions is what causes you to seek more knowledge, awareness, and wisdom, which is the expansion you sought. The only difficulty you ever had in this process is allowing the you that is observing you to also harshly judge the you that is having the experiences. You may think you are being judged by something outside of yourself, but it is always you. You will have a glorious physical life when you seek to reconcile the two yous.
Boom. The two yous. So, and actually, like I thought sometimes that I don't have just two, I have a third and a fourth, and I'm like, well,
Maybe.
who the heck who is talking here now? And this is also something very powerful that I've also shared in a call I've just had earlier. I had a dream 3 years ago, and it was at a peak of my awakening, and I started meditating as well at this time more deeply.
Mhm.
And I had a dream, and the spirit came to me in the most weirdest scenario. It was in a, like it wasn't a swimming pool, but it was like the changing room for men.
Mhm.
And this woman's spirit just came to me in this man clothing room, and she just came flying above me and came. It was the most weirdest scenario, but she talked to me,
Mhm.
and she said, "You're talking to this voice your whole life." And I'm like, what? What are you saying? You're talking to this voice your whole life. Which voice? I ask. And then she again, and I ask, which voice? And she said, again, you're talking with this whole voice your whole life. And I figured out which voice that is that I'm talking to my entire life. And this is actually the voice who has the answers that I need. It was actually the voice who is guiding me on every step that I'm taking. It's always with me, right? Is always also observing me and is knowing about what I'm doing when I'm doing, and helps me to adjust things if I need to. But like this really helped me to figure out like actually, wow, I'm
There is
talking to
something,
voices in my head. This
right.
made me think. This made me start digging deeper into what's going on in my head, or in my mind, better say. It's not really in my head, but in my energetic field, which is the mind. And yeah, it's been very, very fascinating to keep learning about this voice within my head, and to become familiar with that conversation.
I'll leave something else because then this will end it. I did a podcast yesterday, and during the podcast, the interviewer talked about self-improvement or something, and mentioned that word. I said, no, I don't use that. No person ever needs to be improved.
Mm,
That doesn't make any sense. When you think you have to do self-improvement, then you're also assuming that something is wrong with you. I say that you are going to develop, and we all develop in our consciousness as we live, and that's going to be different. And a lot of people are developing now. And I also did one talking about the dark nights of the soul. So we'll talk about that others, because many people are probably feeling they may be having those experiences now.
mhm.
And that's purposeful. The entire world is having that experience.
We'll talk about that more closely,
Yeah,
because
we
this is
will.
a topic that we could discuss a little bit more for people.
Perfect.
Cool.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Exactly. Everyone, check out YouTube or YouTube videos. Check out, give us a like if you watch it, and if you really made it until the end of the video, thank you.
I want them to read the, I'll
Leave
put
us
the
a
link
like,
in too.
share it. If it's valuable for you, it might be valuable for others as well. So share what we're talking about. Let people know that you love. And yeah, let's come together and create a new world. Alrighty. Peace, love, and harmony.